Hey everyone, S-Dub Nation here, and welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here in the channel. I would like to stop and take the time to rank all 8 of the rebooted episodes from Season 3 of Ninjago. Please note that everything that I will say in this video is just my very own opinion. My list is certainly not the right list, it is just my list, and you're free to comment down below your ranking of all 8 Season 3 Ninjago episodes ranked from the worst to the best, just like me, or you could just do your favorite. Sorry guys for the lack of videos again. I said this last week, but I'm sorry for the lack of videos. I really am trying to get these videos out, trying to record them, edit them as fast as I can. And with all the other stuff that I got going on during the week, it's kind of not enough time. But thank you guys for being so patient with me. I know there's been a lack of videos, but thank you so much for being so patient. And without further ado, let's get into our ranking. Kicking off my list at number 8, I have Episode 3, Blackout. There's a lot of things to enjoy about Blackout. You know, you get a new mysterious character. You also get the Overlord coming back. You also get Tech Wu in there. You know, a nice little interesting take on Master Wu. But other than that, man, everything else about this episode just falls short. I mean, the overall theme with Cole and Jay fighting over Nia, I've never been a big fan of that. Like, I'm so glad that they resolved that in Season 4 because I was never a big fan of the Jay and Cole fighting over Nia arc, and Cole doesn't even like Nia, so it's kind of weird why he would even start liking Nia now, because he never liked Nia. And I get it because Jay got mad at Cole and, you know, Cole had to defend himself, but at the end of the day, Cole was like, black is not blue. Or later on in the season when Jay was like, alright, stay away from Nia, and then Cole was like, okay, try a different option. Cole, you don't like Nia. Why does it matter? So just that overall thing with just Cole and Jay fighting over Nia, that just did not sit right with me, and it lowered this episode all the way down to the bottom. But overall, the Lloyd and Garmadon stuff, I like seeing their little relationship mend back together. It's great seeing Master Wu be evil for a change and see Master Garmadon be good with the Lloyd and teaching him how to use his golden powers. I love that stuff a lot. Coming in at number 7 for me has got to go to episode 5, the Digiverse. The Digiverse was an interesting take. I'm not itching to rewatch this episode. I would rewatch Blackout more than I would rewatch this episode because it just feels forgettable. And the only thing that I really like about it is the Zane turning gold, or like the other ninja turning gold. Like, I want those minifigures and I like that sequence, but I just feel like, why? What was the point of making them gold? Like, Kai asked Zane, you're gold. Like, he didn't even ask him. He told him, he said, Zane, you're gold. And then Zane said, exactly, even in the darkness, you can still see the light. Okay, I get that. Why did you turn gold, though? Very weird. And I just think the overall episode kind of feels confusing when you're inside of the Digiverse. You get the rules, you understand the rules, you understand what's going on. You just kind of feel confused once they get to the stuff with Zane turning gold and everything like that. And it just overall just feels forgettable. At number 6, I have episode 6, Codename Arcturus. There's a lot of things to enjoy about Codename Arcturus. I actually loved this episode when I first saw it, and I very much said that it was going to be my favorite episode of this season. Some of that has gone a little bit down for me, mainly because of Kai's arrogance. As Kai being my favorite ninja as well as my favorite character, I just hate what they did with him inside of this episode. I mean, because you can get why he's arrogant and reckless inside of season 6 because they're famous now. The fame has gone to his head, but I hated what they did with him in Skybound. And just like what I hate about Skybound, I hate about in this episode, and that's Kai's recklessness and Kai's arrogance. But I think the one thing that stands out to me about this episode is the fact they get their elemental powers back, and that was just so cool to me, seeing that, oh my god, my favorite ninja can shoot fire out of his hands now, or Zane can shoot ice out of his hands now. It's just so cool seeing them get their elemental powers back, but it also is just so aggravating seeing my favorite ninja stoop this low in the 3rd season, where he was kind of serious and had a great arc in season 1 and especially season 2. Kicking off my top 5 list has got to go to episode 4, Curse of the Golden Master. I can't really find any negatives about this episode. This one is more on the forgettable side and more on the throwaway episode side, but I think the reason why I have it higher than my last 3 is because it just feels more story driven. It feels like it's inside of a story, and it feels like this episode is contributing to the overall theme of the season. As the other episodes do kind of do that a little bit, they just have a lot of negatives to them, whereas this one I can't really find any negatives except for the fact that it is forgettable and kind of a throwaway episode. But the positives on this, I love what they did with Skills, giving him a family, making him more civilized, making him less of a bad guy and more of a great guy. And just overall what they did with Scales and the Garmadon and Lloyd stuff. The Garmadon and Lloyd stuff were the big standout in the first 4 episodes of this season. But other than that, everything else, kind of forgettable. Alright, before I get into my top 4, I'd like to take the time to say that if you are a fan of Ninjago, which you probably are, that's why you're watching this video. Click that playlist up above for everything Ninjago related that I have on my channel. Also, if you are a fan of the DCEU, I am doing a DCEU rewatch on my podcast. It's called the Regular Podcast. That link is always in the description and comment section, and we will be uploading Batman v Superman in the near future. Without further ado, let's get into my top 4. Coming in at number 4 for me has got to go to episode 7, The Void. Now, this one just felt like more of an event because we had a long hiatus from episode 6 to episode 7, whereas episode 6 came out in July. Episode 7 came out in November. So we had a long hiatus and we had a long time to think about what are the ninjas going to do now in space. And this episode was really good to me. I really enjoyed this episode because it felt like a time limit. It felt like an Infinity War thing, even though Infinity War hasn't came out yet. But I just love the fact that inside of these Ninjago seasons, we have a time limit throughout the entire story because the ninjas have to stop the ninjroids from taking the golden weapons. They fail, but they also change the story from getting the golden weapons to getting the key to the spaceship so then they can get home and stop them just in time. They get the key, but the spaceship is destroyed by maggots. So they lose all around. So then in the next episode, they can have a big victory. And I just love what they did inside of this overall episode. And it's nice to see the ninjas in a new environment. Kicking off my top 3 list has got to go to episode 2, Art of the Silent Fist. It's nice seeing Master Garmadon. I love seeing Wu take on the evil side and Master Garmadon take on the good side. I just love seeing that. And also the relationship between Garmadon and Lloyd seems more organic here, as these are characters that has a lot of history together, as Lloyd being the one that kind of turned his father away from the dark side. I'm using Star Wars references here, but I just think that they have a great relationship here. But also the entire episode itself is just so memorable. I mean, keeping up the same quality that The Surge had. I mean, this episode came directly after The Surge because they released in 2 episode packages, but I just think that this overall episode right here just kept the same level of quality and freshness to the series as The Surge did. And also just a fun action set piece that they did with the ninjroids at Garmadon's monastery. But a lot of dumb things like the Nia and Cole relationship trying to build and Nia kind of crushing on Cole a little bit. Just a lot of weird things to go on inside of this episode. But overall, and I really dug it. And yeah, I mean, we actually got to see a good version of Master Garmadon do something other than evil. Our runner-up at number 2 has got to go to episode 1, The Surge. When I first watched this episode, I thought it was cool. I liked seeing Ninjago back again because I didn't know at the time that it had got canceled after season 2. I just thought that we was having another season of Ninjago. But when I rewatched this episode recently, and coming off of my ranking for all of the season 2 episodes, I just felt like this one was a big thing. Like, this is Ninjago back. I mean, Ninjago got canceled. This is amazing. Ninjago got canceled and then came back with an amazing episode that is bigger and better, more in scale, better animation, just overall an event. And I felt like this proved to me that Ninjago can be an event. I just love seeing the team back. Everyone feels like they're characters again. Everyone feels like they've grown up a little bit more since the final battle. And the final battle has consequences on this new technological advanced world. The big victory that Lloyd did in the final battle has consequences for the next season. So it is just fascinating to me that they would even think of that. Also, let's not forget about that awesome appearance made by Lloyd, the Golden Ninja at the time. I mean, that appearance was amazing when all hope seemed to be lost. Just Lloyd comes in with a crowd-pleasing entrance. Not better than Thor's, but this entrance was pretty well handled. But obviously, coming in at my number one has got to go to episode 8, The Titanium Ninja. I mean, I think this is the one episode that I first cried for in Ninjago. I mean, I saw TikTok, kind of emotional seeing his father and everything like that. We also got to see The Last Voyage, which was also, his father and stuff. But I just felt like when Zane has emotional moments, you feel those emotional moments. This was a character that I never really liked, that I never thought that I would like, and they gave him his own season, and it was actually pretty good. He actually did the ultimate sacrifice for Ninjago City, and even though we wasn't even expecting Zane to die inside of this season, and even though we knew Zane was going to come back in the next season, I mean, we all saw the sneak peek, that still didn't take away the emotional elements of his death. As this being the first time that this was a season focused on another ninja other than Lloyd, and to have him die in his own season, I think that shows that this has to be the best episode and probably top 10 favorite episodes of mine, because Zane was never my favorite character, and this made me love Zane. If we didn't see Zane again after this, he might have been my favorite character, but I'm always loyal to Kai. But I just think that this episode right here is the best of the entire season, so it has to come in at number 1. Alright guys, that was it for the ranking. Please know that everything that I did say in this video was just my very own opinion. My list was certainly not the right list, it was just my list, and you are free to comment down below your ranking of all 8 Season 3 Ninjago episodes ranked from the worst to the best, just like me, or you could just do your favor. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Just like I said in the beginning, thank you guys so much for being so patient. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.